Percussion Axiom TV. I am your host, Tom Burritt, and this is episode 51, and today's axiom is technique and strength. We're going to go into that in some detail here in a minute, but the topic of the show actually came up from a Facebook message or email from a past student of mine, John Kizlermoot. John, thank you so much for leaving me a message. You left that back on the 11th of September, I think, and I haven't gotten back to you, but I think it's a good idea that you brought up. So I'm going to read John's message here, because I think it's a really good topic that we cover today. Tom, I have some students doing the axiom. Thanks. That's great, John. I've got an axiom idea for you regarding a question I've had trouble answering. A student of mine is playing the Bach G minor, transposed to A, fugue, with Lee's device in the middle. Device is over the middle, over the pedal E. It's a section in the music where Lee is arpeggiated in a way that he's got a sort of a 16 notes, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. It's very, very quick. So that's how he chose to actually arpeggiate that section in the music. And let's see. So John continues. These nearly independent roll strokes are very difficult for me to teach, and I've had a hard time with them as a student myself. Still really do. Well, so do I. So it's not easy. I'd love to see you address this passage and talk about how to develop a good sound in such a small interval. Thanks again for all your great teaching. Thank you, John. I'm so glad you're watching, and I miss having you around here. It's always good to hear from a graduate. So what John's referring to here, I think, is a really good... What John's referring to here is the difficulty of articulating small intervals. I think in this piece we've got this basic pattern. And it moves around a lot, I think, and so very small intervals in the right hand. And John, this is where strengthening comes in. Okay, so today's axiom is technique and strength. So many of the questions I get about technique I answer in a similar way, and that's called strengthening. Okay, so what exactly does that mean? Well, strengthening gives us not only the durability to practice a long time, to play a lot, it also gives us finite, very small motor control. So we can do a lot of really small, quick motions very, very softly. In fact, playing softer is really about being strong. Okay, so there's two parts of strength. The obvious part of strength is being able to play something securely or loudly with a full sound. The second part of strength that we don't often talk about is the ability that strength gives you to do really finite motor control. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. If you want to know more about strengthening, you can watch episode number 8 and number 11. Right in that area of the show of the past year, we talked about fundamentals of the way I think about sound. And so there's more detailed information on some of that. But we'll review a little bit of that here as it relates to John's question. So to answer your question, John, what I do to help build the strength, and it's literally like getting ready to run a marathon. I think that's the thing that's difficult with the Stevens grip that a lot of people don't remember or forget, is that it is a little more challenging at first. And if I don't play for a month, I lose a lot of that finite motor control. So I think the problem we're dealing with here is we've got 3 primary digits controlling the inner mallet and 2 secondary digits, namely the 4th finger and the pinky, that aren't asked to do really anything in regular day life as a primary function, right? But here we're actually asking them to hold a very, very heavy mallet towards the very end of the stick, okay? So we're asking non-primary digits to do a primary function. That's the problem. So a lot of slow warm-up practice. If you go through my exercises, mostly the ones at the end, we're going to talk about those, I think will really help this issue. So we want to primarily focus on strengthening the hands, especially the non-supporting digits. So the first thing I would suggest doing after you do the first 2 or 3 exercises on my warm-up sheet is to practice fifths. Up and down. I also call this my strengthening exercise. The second part of the strengthening exercise actually has the sticks going twice as fast. Fifths, you do that for a long enough period of time, you've got a really good one-handed roll happening, and you're building the strength up to deal with these. You can also practice that at smaller intervals, fourths, thirds, I think, the strengthening of being able to dig out those strokes in the fugue. The second thing I like to do are my arpeggio exercises. I also talk about those in episode 8, I think, and number 11. And that's the strengthening of being able to move and using small intervals as well. So we're going to have intervals of a third and a fourth, moving up and down. Do that on a circle of fifths, up and down. You can refer again back to episode 8 and 11 for more detailed discussion on that. And then the third thing I'll do is practice scales using 4 mallets. If you consult Method of Movement on this, Lee Stevens' book, 2 episodes in a row now we've actually discussed this book. I should get some something from him, huh? If you look, I don't know where it is, I forget, but he talks about scale passages, and it's 4 mallet sticking that works real well for those. Is 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then same thing, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then you cross for the top note and go back down the same way. 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2. Now that sticking actually works for every scale except for F sharp. So it doesn't lay very well for F sharp, so you can figure out a different one for F sharp or just don't play F sharp. Because the point of this is learning strengthening inside small intervals. So lays great for something like E flat. Practice that up and down with some fluidity and musicianship and musical phrasing, that is. And I think you'll find that those 3 exercises will really, really help that spot. Okay? Do all that while you're warming up. So those are the exercises that I do for strengthening. Now look, here's the thing about strengthening, okay? It's just like going to a gym. Anybody can go to a gym and get stronger, okay? So this isn't something that some people can do and some people can't do. Maybe some certain individuals will have a harder time than others actually doing it, but if you actually put the work in, you do this exercise the right way, you build the strength up in the bottom part of your hand to support these non-supporting digits or non-primary function digits, in both hands, and you should have much more success. So that's today's episode, strength and technique. When you have technical issues, especially with the Stevens grip, I think strengthening is the key. So, very quick episode today, somewhat off the cuff, which is sort of good because I like that. I think that's the way it should be. Very, very excited after episode 50 to keep moving on with the show. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Keep spreading the word. Tell your friends about the show. I want to see the show keep growing. And as always, leave comments. I love to see the comments. And I think I've addressed one of those, John, to you. So thanks so much, John, for leaving comments and having your students watch the show. I hope this helps. Today's question of the episode, we always end with that, is, lately I've been really excited about kind of what's going on. I'm really getting pumped for PASIC. It's still a couple months away almost, so maybe not 5-6 weeks away. Playing with the ZMF new music session. Get to hear some of the pieces. I'm playing a piece on that. I'm also doing a panel discussion with discussing keyboard concertos. So I'm really, really excited about that. I hope to run into a lot of you there. So I've just been excited. And this week I'm really excited because I get to play the Firebird Ballet Suite, Stravinsky. Killer xylophone part. I've never had a chance to play it. And tonight's the first rehearsal. So I'm really, really excited about that. I think, it's good to be excited about what you're doing. Right? That's why we play. So what are you guys excited about? I want to know. I don't care if it's teaching, playing, whatever. What are you excited about? I want to hear about it. Please leave it in the comments at thomasburritt.tumblr.com. That's the best place to leave comments. And got some really cool plans for upcoming shows, so we're excited about that. And we're going to get into an area that I think is something pedagogical that we don't talk about, and that's articulation. So that's today's show. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching, and we'll see you next time.